Hello and welcome back for another video on ARK Survival Ascended. There's no denying that a lot of creatures in ARK are in need of a good TLC update. And although Wildcard will never give us these updates, modders can. In this video, I'll be showcasing 10 creature mods that are essentially TLC updates to already pre-existing creatures in ARK. Every single one of these mods are cross-platform. Let's get straight into it. Kicking off our list is the Better Rock Golem from Shinigami. This mod makes the rock elemental stronger and much more useful for many tasks. Once tamed, you can choose your size to cater to your liking by accessing its radial menu. It does look pretty funny riding a tiny rock golem, I must admit. They are also ridiculously fast sprinters, as opposed to their extremely sluggish vanilla counterparts. These things might even be a contender for the Olympics 100-meter sprint, but I'm all for it. It has a much faster attack speed and can also jump from great heights without taking any fall damage. The Better Rock Golem is an exceptional worker when it comes to gathering resources, with 4 different harvesting modes that you can access while mounted. The pickaxe increasing harvesting of metal, flint, crystal, etc, etc. The hatchet increasing stone and sand harvesting, where it also has a 75% weight reduction for most of these heavy resources. A no harvest mode, which of course doesn't harvest anything at all, and finally a torpor mode, which when using its melee attack can be used to easily knock out creatures. It is also immune to bleed attacks and will protect the rider from almost anything. For example, you can headbutt poison balls from a poison wyvern and will not be phased by any of that. And if all that didn't sound good enough, well, it can also enter boss fights. I never thought I'd see the day where I'll be taking a rock golem army into battle, let alone an army of mini golems. Paleo Ark Evolution Apex Predators from Up From the Depths introduces the Evo Rex and the Evo Giga, which are completely reworked with high quality new models, new animations and new attacks. It's no surprise that the Paleo Ark mod is one of the most popular creature mods out there today, with more creatures being added further down the line. I love the way that the Giga can go into a crouch walking stance, as if it is stalking its prey. I wish more creatures in the game had their own animations like this. It's really cool. Plus, this can also be used to allow the Giga to enter the tech cave on the island map, which was pointed out in the comments on one of my recent mod creature showcases, which I had no idea about, so thank you for that. If you miss the glory days of the Giga and how powerful it was back in the day, then look no further, you will love this mod. Another thing to mention is that you can convert vanilla Gigas and Rexes into the Paleo versions and vice versa by the flick of a button when accessing its radial menu. So if for some reason you do want to remove the mod, you can still keep your dinos by converting them back to their vanilla versions. Moving on, we have the Improved Phoenix from Shinigami. Firstly, there has been some changes to the wild Improved Phoenix, where it is highly aggressive, making them more of a threat. However, the taming process is slightly faster and more forgiving if not able to attack it for a couple of minutes. And most notably, will spawn with or without heat waves, which definitely makes them a lot easier to tame in itself. Once tamed, the Improved Phoenix offers a variety of new features, including a small insulation buff to keep the player warm, which works especially well on Scorched Earth. It works much better as a forge, where it can burn wood into charcoal, and has massive weight reduction for metal ingot, charcoal and wood, etc. It can grind items up into metal for an 80% return of metal used to craft that item. It now has its own natural armor rating, offering far more protection from attacks. The rider can wield their weapons when mounted, and it will no longer lose food when in charge mode. And just like the Paleo mod, it can be converted back to a vanilla Phoenix, which can also be done via its radial menu, which of course will allow you to keep it if you end up removing the mod later on, which is a function I wish all mods had, to be honest. And finally, the mod adds genders, allowing for breeding. If you love the Phoenix, then you'll love this mod. ZCI's Betel Tapajara will be a nice addition to all those Tapajara lovers out there, increasing its flying speed by 50% and giving it full damage immunity. No idea why you'd need that on a flyer, but hey, it's fast and that is all that counts. If you dismount when flying, your character will stay on the saddle. This has actually saved my butt when my game crashed, where I rejoined and was still stood on the saddle. More changes include players being able to wield their weapons when mounted, which is something only the passenger seats allow with the vanilla version. It can now carry creatures up to the size of a parasol. This version is also an omnivore and can harvest small amounts of berries and fiber with its bite attack. And another nice feature is that there's a 10% chance for wild babies to spawn alongside their parents, which, correct me if I'm wrong, is a first regarding flyers. Next up is a dino that I have a lot of love for, and is one of my favourite underrated creatures in ARK. It is the Kentrosaurus, and this is the reborn Kentro mod from the other Viper. The mod will add additional armor for the Kentro that can be unlocked at level 48. It is only 10 armor, but every little helps. You can, however, hunt down wild Kentros, but they have a small chance to drop higher quality saddles. Most notable changes with their pack buffs. Typically, the vanilla Kentro will only receive plus 5% melee damage per pack member, where this version receives 5% extra damage resistance per pack member on top of the 5% melee also, making them that extra little bit tankier. Following that, we now have the Reborn Direwolf mod. This basically works the same as the Reborn Kentro, which gives you the ability to craft saddle armor for it at level 40, offering a armor rating of 15, or by finding better quality saddles when killing wild direwolves. I've also read up that you can even find blueprints for them this way for the direwolf and the Kentro. However, I have not found any myself as of yet. There are a few changes, where the alpha of the pack can use the howl to buff the pack while sprinting, and the headshot multiplier for wild and tame direwolves has been removed. Nothing too drastic, but honestly the wolf is quite strong as it is, so having high quality armor for it will go a long way and will give the wolf that much needed protection it needs to become an even stronger battle mount. Next up is Big Owl's Karka rework, the small version from Big Owl. This is one of my favorite TLC mods for the vanilla creatures. The mod adds a smaller version of the Carcharodontosaurus, where the stats and size are more comparable to the T-Rex. It receives changes to its model and animations, and my knowledge of history isn't the best, but I am pretty certain that the game developers made the Giga and Karka way too big for their boots, as in real life all these large theropods were all around a similar size to the T-Rex. Its blood rage ability works very similar to its vanilla counterpart, but of course there are some changes to keep it relatively balanced and not too overpowered. And yes, due to their smaller structure, they are now able to enter boss arenas. This is everything I want the vanilla Carcharodontosaurus to be. The Spinosaurus Redux from Jam's UWU is a great TLC mod for the Spino. It is in my opinion a dino that really does need a good buff to contend with its rivals like the Rex, and this is the mod that achieves just that, increasing its base health from 700 to 900, slightly increasing its attack animation in bipedal stance, while also slightly increasing its base damage. It now does not possess an oxygen stat and has the ability to actually sprint in the water, making it an exceptional swimmer and a great option for ocean exploration. Their eggs are now classed as extra large eggs like the Rex, so can be used in crafting exceptional kibble. The mod changes the Spino from a carnivore diet to piscivore, where it will only eat fish meat, which might not sound great from first impressions. However, it is stated to receive the same buffs of the Baryonyx, where it will deal more damage to water targets, and is also stated to heal its health when killing fish just like the Baryonyx. However, this currently doesn't seem to work as intended, as I haven't noticed any healing effect when killing fish, so hopefully this will get fixed in the future. Either way, this is the best mod for all those Spino lovers out there. Up next is Kokito's Element Gathering Ankylosaurus. So admittedly this isn't really much of a TLC for the Anky, but I figured I would add it to the list. I do love the Anky and there are a few elements of TLC here. No pun intended by the way. Firstly, they are super fast sprinters. When I say fast, I mean lightning fast, which also means they are great swimmers too, able to harvest resources quickly from the ocean if need be. And of course the Element Anky can harvest element and element shards from metal rocks. This is a great mod for all the tech enjoyers where the boss fights just aren't cutting it for their element needs. Personally, it's not a favourite of mine, as I never tend to reach tech tier through the majority of my playthroughs before starting another, so I would never be able to reap the benefits. I did have someone mention in my comments stating how good it would be to have an aberrant Therizinosaurus. Well, Cyrus Creates has created the better Therizinosaur, which adds the aberrant variant of the Ferry to Aberration, and as expected, it looks absolutely beautiful. Spawning commonly in the blue zone and rare in the green zone, it receives some nice weight reduction changes, having 50% weight reduction for wood, thatch, and fiber, which I honestly wish the vanilla Ferry had, especially for wood, as it gathers that like a champ. Admittedly, not a lot of changes to it, but does it really need it? Probably not. The main thing here is that we actually have an aberrant Therizinosaurus unleashed into the world of aberration. What more could you ask for? And that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more ARK content, and help me reach my goal of 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I would really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care. Goodbye.